All right, here I am back again, kind of reviewing what we did yesterday, getting it all together. And so we have all of our terrariums up here. We have the big one that I made. It's been in there for 7 days now. I did take some paper towels and wipe off the condensation. It's bigger, so I can do that. I can't do that with the smaller ones. So, real fast, you're going to be doing a project coming up. Like, you're going to get an assignment today that is, you have 16, which is 16A, which is to watch the video and do the one worksheet, and then you have 16B, which is a project. You guys are going to create your own terrariums. So let's go back over this real fast. We have our terrariums here. This one is a spaghetti spaghetti sauce jar, and you can see it right here. What I want you to look at is we have the layers of the dirt. If you can see the layers of the dirt here, you can see that worm on top. You can still see the greenery. It is getting a little condensation in there. It would be easy to wipe out. I do like glass if it's available and in a safe place where you don't have siblings or something that could get hurt on it if it would break or something like that. And if it's your parents are okay with that, then you have this is our peanut jar, and you can see the condensation in it, but it's doing pretty well, and there's a worm right there on top. And I think they're on top because they are very wet. We're probably going to take the lids off of these and let some of the air out. You don't want to do that if you have a lot of ants in them, because then the ants are going to get out everywhere. But if you don't, you can take them out a little bit. Here's our pretzel container, and our pretzel container looks really good. What's awesome about our pretzel containers, if we come over here, we can kind of see where the worms have been moving through, which is super cool. It's got a lot of water in it still, so we're going to let it keep the lid off and hopefully get some of the water will evaporate. And then you can see the condensation really starting to get into this container. But if we look in here, you can see it. You can see the different things going on in there. There's a slug in this one in particular, and the different plants, and one's reaching all the way up the neck of the container. Then we have this jar, this mason jar, and this is one of my favorites. The condensation isn't real high yet in this one. And so I think it's just a pretty container with, some greenery and some plant inside there. And then the last one was that Gatorade bottle, which is one of the easiest ones to get, but the condensation is getting kind of high in there. And you can kind of just see it. But once again, you can see the layers of the dirt. You don't want to overwater, and that would be the biggest thing I would tell you is don't overwater. Then you have this big one right here. This is the one that's been, like I said, sealed for 7 days now. I wiped the condensation out of it, but you can see the fish are in the bottom. You can see the plants up there. I don't see a whole lot of other movement. I'm sure that a lot of the bugs have went down below, but you can kind of see it. This is I love this container. It's clear and easy to see into, and that's what I would say with the pretzel container, and I'd say with the glass. Some of the other ones, it's hard to get down in there. I'd also say using a Tupperware container, they're not as clear. I mean, you can use one, they're just not going to be as clear, and it's the depth of them. They're pretty shallow, and so depending on what you're putting in there, you're not going to be able to see a whole lot a lot of the times. So I want to review your project. So when you get your papers, you're going to have 16A, 16B. 16A is a worksheet over this. 16B is your project. You have until next Tuesday, so it's 6 days. But what you're going to do is you're going to create your own terrarium. So you need to find a bottle or something that you want to use. Like I said, I prefer glass, but if you don't have glass or you can't keep glass safe because of siblings in the house or just your location or your parents may not want you to use glass, and that is okay. Or I prefer a bigger plastic container. If you can figure out a bigger plastic container, that would be great. Now, but you can go all the way down to a small container and do a small ecosystem in a bottle. And that's basically what this terrarium is. It's a small ecosystem in the bottle. The water evaporates, it goes back down. It never leaves. It creates condensation, goes back down in, so things stay moist. The fish and other things will take the oxygen given off by the plants and give the carbon dioxide, and then the plants will use it, and it all works together, right? All in one thing. And so that is what you're going to be working on. You want to create it. The things that you need in this project are 10 things. Now, those 10 things can be all kinds of different stuff. Like here, we had some sand and some rocks and some soil. I would count that as 3 things. Now, I wouldn't count 10 rocks that you put in the bottom of it as 10 different things. I also would count 1 rock that you might use as decorative that you put up around your plants, and then you have soil, and then you have your other rocks, and then you have your sand. I would count that. Okay, I would count a stick if you put a stick in there. I have some sticks in this one. I would count sticks if you decide to put some sticks in there. A worm would count as 1, a pill bug, an ant, all those different things would count as 1. Now, you can get, your plants can be anything. It can be grass, can be a weed, can be anything you find growing outside that I would suggest maybe using a plastic spoon to help you. If not, you can dig it out with your hand even. That's not a big deal if you dig it out and put it in there. But if you can use a plastic spoon, that might help you as well. You want to try to make sure you get the roots. Now, don't use anything in the house that might upset your parents or whoever is there, any of your adults that are in the house. Like, don't grab one of the best spoons in the house and go out and start digging things up. I'm sure they would not be happy about that. So don't do that. Don't just go grab shovels without permission or something like that. Make sure you have permission to get anything that you are using. All right. The other thing is, don't make a mess in the house. Do this outside. I cannot repeat enough. Do this outside. All right. After the 6 days, which will be like next Tuesday, we'll get back together on a Google Classroom Meets, and we'll talk about it. I'll try to set up 2 different times so that if you can't make one, you can make the other, so you can share your project and talk about it with me. If that's really hard for you to do, have your parents maybe take a picture of it, or you can take a picture of it, and if you can post it to Dojo so I can see it, and then you can write me another half a page describing what it is. You will have a list to put down the things that are in it. But anyways, I'm excited about this. I hope you guys are excited about it. It's something different. It's the projects that you asked for all year. Now we're doing some hands-on stuff, getting outside and working on it. So stay safe, and we will see you next time. Thanks.